Go. Yes, as I'll ever be. Right, I was trying to think of something to talk about. I'm slightly obsessed with cheese at the moment, and I was wondering how I could talk about it, and I realised I could tell my life story basically kind of in cheese, because I like cheese so much. So I began life a bit like this little piece of Dairy Lee, all naked and vulnerable and whatever, in the early 60s. And to be fair, Dairy Lee type cheese was probably the first cheese that I ever had. It used to come in those sort of circular things with lots, and it probably wasn't dairy, it was probably some dodgy sort of weird one, because I remember my mum gave us these ones, and there was a couple of plain ones, and then there was like a tomato flavoured one, and then there was one that was allegedly Danish blue, which actually just tasted like plimsoll. I quite like that, but I got a taste of cheese mainly through the mighty toasted cheese, which is, let's face it, the food of gods. The first thing I learned how to cook on my own, you know, the slicing was a bit dodgy and fire and that sort of stuff, but other things, we're in the 70s now suddenly, anyway, so I was buying crisps, cheese and onion being the obvious one. Do you remember the playground grip when you're offering crisps to people? You hold all the crisps. Next thing is macaroni cheese. Who cooks macaroni cheese? That's the first thing I ever learned to cook. My dad used to do all the cooking on a Saturday, and the only thing he could cook really well was every Saturday, macaroni cheese, every single time. Oh God, we're in France. Suddenly, being middle class people, we all used to go on holiday. Terrible holidays to France. But I remember stinky brie was the thing that I was a bit worried about. It's a bit kind of weird, but I sort of started trying it a few times and thought, you know, there's some different cheeses out there. This looks a bit like a turd, obviously. You know, those little German smoke sauce, that was the thing you could get cheese-wise. If you were in a foreign country, in England, you could get these very strange little things. The mum and dad it was like having a party every week. Top of the bill was brilliant because you could make just by working on a rich Saturday. In the 80s I did a lot of travelling, and the one thing I must say, I went to America and discovered the proper American cheeseburger, which is a family, they really are ridiculous, about the size of your own head, basically. That's called pound cheese, pound of cheese. I wouldn't recommend that, that is a cheese dog. I tried that, that's not a good thing. That's a very nasty thing, so you have no idea what's in there, and that isn't even really cheese. But I do suspect that it's probably something like the next slide, one of those things. What is wrong with these people? That's not right. Cheese, aerosol cheese. So very, very nice, especially when for the hangover and, you know, anyway. But there were never any connections. Right, in the 90s I went into the catering industry. Massive pieces of cheese. I mean, cheese. No, that's a piece of cheese in catering. So we've got cheese here for 473 people. Unfortunately, my first job as a kitchen assistant was basically grating a piece of cheese. That was my first job with an ordinary grater. But I'm very, very good not for any other. In the 90s, I probably matured a little bit like cheese, and I started getting into sort of different cheeses. Obviously, Christmas comes around. What's Christmas without a bit of Stilton? So I started liking a bit of Stilton. I'm not hoping this one's going to change, because that's all I've got to say about it. So, in the noughties, anyway, I really started sort of branching out into sort of various different things, and I started finding out that actually there's an awful lot of cheese. And one of the things that's really good is actually England has got the best cheese. France, obviously, but England is absolutely brilliant apart from that. I have children, I kept them well away from that. My son actually won't eat those, but he will eat a lovely piece of camembert. So that's it. Also, those are a little bit dodgy, but you have to be aware all the time that cheese, which is a wonderful thing, can be infiltrated by unpleasant products like things in aerosol, but you have to defend against that all the time. You go for proper cheese made by proper people from small amounts of milk in nice places, great places. So there's a whole world of cheese, and I would sort of, you know, basically I'm getting very obsessed with cheese now. I do have an alter ego doing a sort of a little cheese ensemble every now and again, which I'm not allowed to mention, obviously not allowed to. But I would just say that's my life with cheese, and remember everybody, it's a world of cheese.